If you're new to baking with yeast and a little bit intimidated, I hope this video gives you the confidence to try making your own cinnamon rolls at home, because I guarantee that these cinnamon rolls are going to become a family favorite. It's an easy yeast dough that's made in your mixer with that brown sugar cinnamon filling and topped with the creamiest cream cheese icing. And I have the secret to making the best cinnamon rolls. I'm telling you, it's gonna transform the way you make any cinnamon roll from here on out. You wanna make sure for the yeast that your milk isn't too hot or it's going to kill it. Also check the expiration date on your yeast packet. If it's expired, the yeast is no longer active, and that means your cinnamon rolls aren't going to rise. To start, in your stand mixer or large bowl, stir together the warm milk, yeast, and just a teaspoon of the sugar. You'll let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes until the yeast mixture becomes foamy and bubbly. If after 10 minutes your yeast is not bubbly and active, that means that it's either been killed by the warm milk if it was too hot, or your yeast was expired to start. So that means you need to throw it out and start over and get a new packet of yeast. To the yeast mixture, we're going to add in the rest of our granulated sugar, our flour, salt, eggs, and softened butter, and stir to combine until a shaggy dough comes together in the bowl. Then I fit my stand mixer with my dough hook attachment, and I knead this at medium speed for about 6 to 8 minutes. If the dough is super sticky at this point, I'll add in a little bit of additional flour. You can knead this dough by hand. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Take about 8 to 10 minutes kneading the dough by hand. The dough is definitely going to be sticky at first, especially if you're kneading by hand as opposed to the mixer. Just know that over time it's going to get a little less sticky. You do want the dough still to be a little bit on the sticky side, so I just err on the caution of adding too much extra flour. The dough should come away from the sides of the bowl, but it will still kind of stick to the bottom. I recommend do not add any more than 5 cups of flour. The more flour that you add, the drier the dough becomes, and that means your cinnamon rolls are also going to come out dry. Then you'll lightly grease a large bowl and place the dough into the bowl, turning once to coat. Cover the bowl and allow it to rise until doubled in size, about 1 to 1.5 hours. I'm using instant yeast for this recipe, but if you are using active dry yeast, which is totally fine, you're just going to find that your rising time takes a little bit longer. And once the dough has risen, we can go ahead and assemble our cinnamon rolls. You'll turn the dough onto a lightly floured surface and roll the dough into about 18 to 12 inches of a rectangle. Spread the dough with your softened butter, leaving about a 1/2 inch border at the top long edge. In a small bowl, stir together the brown sugar and cinnamon, and you'll sprinkle this all over the butter, just pressing down lightly to adhere. Then, starting on the long edge with the filling, roll up the dough tightly into a log and pinch the dough to seal. You'll cut the dough into 12 equal rolls. I recommend using a serrated knife. Another way to cut the rolls is also to use a piece of dental floss, or you can use a piece of string, and simply place it under the dough and bring up the sides of the string and then crisscross them, and it'll cut neatly through the dough. You'll place the cinnamon rolls into a greased 9x13 baking dish. Place the rolls into the pan spiral side up, and you'll cover the baking dish and let these rolls rise for a second time for 45 minutes until they're slightly puffy and about nearly doubled in size. Again, if you're using active dry yeast, you're just going to find that your yeast rising time takes a little bit longer, sometimes up to about 75 minutes. And then near the end of the second rising time, you'll want to make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to bake these in the center of your oven. And I promised you the secret to the best cinnamon rolls, and now we've arrived at that time. You're going to pour warm, heavy cream, warm, not hot, because we, again, don't want to kill that yeast, but just slightly warmed heavy cream over the top of the cinnamon rolls. This just creates the fluffiest, softest cinnamon rolls. You get kind of this like caramely bottom to them as well. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. It is the best kept secret when making cinnamon rolls. Bake in your oven for 30 to 35 minutes until golden brown. While they bake, you can go ahead and make the cream cheese icing. In a mixing bowl with a mixer, you're going to beat the softened cream cheese and butter together on about medium-high speed for 2 minutes until smooth and combined. You'll add in your powdered sugar, just a 1/2 cup at a time, and mix on low speed, and then add in your vanilla extract and beat again until fluffy and light in texture, about 1 to 2 minutes. You'll spread the cinnamon rolls with the cream cheese over the icing. I like to ice the rolls twice, once when they come out of the oven so it's nice and warm, and then again once they've begun to cool down. If you don't fall in love with these cinnamon rolls, I am going to be shocked. These are the best cinnamon rolls, hands down. And I hope I've given you the confidence to try making these cinnamon rolls on your own at home. And if you have any other difficult baking recipes you'd love for me to break down step by step so that you have the confidence to try them on your own, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, happy baking.